We have to be connected, more connected with the most vulnerable. And that's why this is important to make that call out to the neighbors to reach out, get involved, help out in a community organization. We need everybody in this human crisis that is happening in Montreal. We can ignore it all we want, but it's there. It's there.
You know, sometimes when we cry, it's because we're sad, but also because we're mad. We need to do better. All of us, all governments, we need to do better.
Was supposed to be an announcement for funding in the fight against homelessness. It quickly turned emotional this morning. Montreal Mayor Soraya Martinez-Ferrada becoming tearful when she announced that 2 homeless seniors had died and that the organizations which had been working with them for some time were in mourning. Now, no further details were provided by the mayor. The announcement caught both the police and Urgence Santé by surprise. Both tell CTV Montreal this morning that they've not heard about any recent deaths within the homeless population. So we heard from the mayor. You also heard in that clip from Benoit Langevin, city councillor for Pierrefonds-Roxboro. He's responsible for social development and cohabitation in the City of Montreal's executive committee. Joins us on the line right now. Monsieur Langevin, Benoit, welcome to the show.
Hello, Elias. How's it going?
I'm doing okay. Let's talk about the emotion from this morning. We played a bit of it there. The mayor broke down at a couple of moments during that. What can you tell us here this morning about these deaths? Because like I said, the police and the Urgence Santé, they don't have details here. What should you be sharing right now with our listeners?
Well, as an ex-outreach worker 15 years ago, when the mayor cracked, I cracked. But she cracked because Julien Montreuil, which is our colleague that works at La Lamine, in the morning told us, I can't do this press conference about cleanup. I can't do it because, you know what? I'm too emotional and I'm mourning and I can't deal with it. I can't deal because I deal with too much death in a year span. And he was talking about the system and the difficulties he's going through as a nonprofit and being the organization that runs the 2 roulottes all along Notre Dame. I mean, they're in the heart of dealing with human crisis. And we were there to increase their funding and, you know, work better in a way because we have a lot of Diogène residents, people that accumulate in a massive way. And you need the health sector to help us to be able to know what's garbage, know what's not garbage in order to have a personalized approach and make the site clean. And so as a city, obviously our role is to make sure that the city is clean and that, you know, the citizens are comfortable in an environment. It doesn't create insecurity, feelings. And so we're there to announce this increase in funding, $412,000 to have 4 full-time workers just to create relationship with all the people that are encamping in the site in order to be able to facilitate our blue collars work and to make sure that they feel comfortable to be able to not dispose of people's belongings that either just went through an eviction or they cannot find housing, bottom line, with the price of rent now. So this is what was going on this morning, Elias.
Now, do you have any details about the 2 that have passed away? Like, do we know where they died? I heard some speculation this could have happened at a warming site. Like, are there any details that you can share on these 2 people?
Well, what I can say is that you're right. This information is real. That it happened in one warming center and one shelter in the area. Like I said, we don't want to put pressure on these organizations that are already struggling with the fact that they had to deal with somebody who died in these organizations, deal with the staff. This is heavy for a community organization, especially in the context that they're dealing with this pressure of increasing homelessness over the years. And so I'm gonna keep it there. But yes, we will get more details in the future once the family wants to talk about these individuals and say their name publicly.
Now, just one last thing, and by the way, you can pass on this one. But do we know were these deaths of natural causes, or is there something else going on?
Well, homelessness is so hard on somebody. I mean, spending your days in shelters and in the resource environment for an elder is never something that will prolong your life. Mm-hmm. You're struggling to feed yourself. You're struggling to make sure you have a spot for the night. It's truly difficult to be, even if we house or we put a roof over these people's head, it's still such a challenge that it has a toll on your health. And you're sleeping with hundreds of people in one of those shelters as a neighbor. So obviously it's super heavy. But what we're doing is keeping on the leadership about homelessness, and we're pushing, again, having more resources in MHM, making sure that we can make sure that cohabitation is answered and that we have more of a strategic and more humane approach to make sure that the scenarios of having massive garbage mountains on the lawn of Notre Dame can be addressed, and to make sure that also these workers can facilitate all these individuals to find places, because long term, the idea is to rehouse these people, find options, find the different programs that fits the different reality of all the people that are encamping right now.
We're with Benoit Langevin, who is responsible for social development cohabitation on the City of Montreal's executive committee. So, Benoit, it's clear you care. I mean, you and the mayor, we heard it this morning in that audio. You absolutely care. Let's talk about translating that care into results. And I know that's where some of the frustration comes from, and obviously dealing with various levels of government here. So let's talk about that plan.
Results. They can be evaluated differently. At the municipal level, well, we got to make sure cohabitation function is that, you got different levels of wealth in a community. So you got to make sure that people get along and there is structure in order for everybody to have a place in a borough, for instance. That could be one evaluation of success. The other evaluation of success would be to rehouse and get these people out of the street, right? So in order to do that, we need to increase social housing, which is one of the city's responsibilities, which we're addressing right now, and we're working on a plan in order to, as we promised, to deliver 2,000 more transitional housing. And that's where we're heading. But these transitional housing takes time because it requires many stakeholders in the housing field, if you like. And in order to be able to arrive with projects that addresses these segments of population in order to get them out. So yes, results are coming. We've been in place for 5 months. And honestly, there hasn't been a minute we haven't wasted on not doing what we have to do in order to make sure that everybody's safe first, and also that we're working on a long-term plan to actually get those encampments emptied.
Benoit, we'll leave it there. I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning time.
Thank you, Elias. Take care.
That's Benoit Langevin. He's city councillor in Pierrefonds-Roxboro, and he's responsible for social development and cohabitation on the City of Montreal's executive committee.
iHeartRadio is throwing it back.
2010s, the decade.
To the days of huge hits and unforgettable anthems. A non-stop stream of the biggest and best.
Drake, Rihanna, Beyonce, Katy, Gaga, The Weeknd,
and more. All your decade-defining favorites, all in one place.
Hi, it's Katy Perry.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
This is Kesha.
Find 2010's The Decade on the free iHeartRadio app. Preset the station so it's always one tap away.